What's up, my friends? How be thou? How's everybody doing on this fine day? It's a little chilly here, just sitting here before sunset in Portland, stepping outside for a little breather and a few microbes from the air. Microbes have been on my mind lately because I've been doing tons of research about probiotics, antibiotics, medicines, and how our bodies and minds are affected by these microbes. And it's just fascinating research. It's led me to all kinds of interesting places. I've had to watch and sit through several boring lectures, some of them without even visual cues, which makes it kind of hard, but there's still, whenever a subject is fascinating enough, it's totally worth sitting through any lecture, I guess I should feel that way about Manly P. Hall. I probably only watched 2 or 3 actual videos that he made, but I've listened to every one of his lectures, and they're pretty amazing, gotta say. I mean, the guy is so dry. I mean, he's nearly impossible to listen to for a lot of people. Manly Hall is the philosopher, Freemason, yada yada / everything. The guy knew a ton of stuff, and it was just a wealth of information that I was able to get out of that. But I had to sit through a lot of boring talks, and that's how I feel sometimes about science and biology. But I guess the thing about it is that the scientists out there, a lot of people think that they're somehow all organized and working in some total system where they support each other completely, and that they agree with each other and, lie to the public. And to a degree that may be true, but I think for the most part we can agree that scientists aren't, they're competing. They want to be recognized. They want their discoveries to be the ones on the forefront. I was having this discussion earlier, and it got me thinking about how people suspect science at being some sort of corrupt entity, but really it's not an entity, it's a multitude of entities, and each one seeking their own particular end. But ultimately they're in competition, and they're likely to scathe on each other's ideas, to laugh at them sometimes rather than to actually support them. And this is a good thing because it keeps people honest. It means that the facts will always speak for themselves, so long as they come up. And And of course, this is discoveries come along, doing this research, finding all kinds of information about how they say that there's 10 times more bacteria in your body than natural cells, but then I found out that the new study said it's more like a 60-40 kind of ratio, but the other one's quoted everywhere. So the scientific statistic that people quote becomes the norm, the truth. It's not the actual truth, but it's what people think is the truth. And it's what's repeated, so people tend to believe it. And then it becomes really hard to know what's true and what's just skewed results or misunderstood information. I mean, hell, 5 years ago even, we didn't understand probiotics, and it was all about antibiotics. Look at how fast everything switched, And still, they're both necessary. But I was having an argument with a friend of mine earlier about, he said that he takes probiotics with this special coating, and that it helps it get into the intestine better, and that taking it in yogurt isn't useful because it all gets killed by the gut, by the acids in the stomach. So I kind of picked on him a little bit and disagreed, but then I started doing a little research and found out, of course, what I figured a lot of it is, but some of it isn't. And my belief is that, of course, mankind hasn't always had nice pills to take. We've got our probiotics from other sources. But he used the example of the stomach breaking up acids and how that the acids could melt through metal and whatnot. And I said, well, why do you think your coating on your capsule is any better than, anything else? The body recognizes some of these bacteria, is what I'm saying, and then I believe that they tend to make it through into the system. And that, I don't know. There's a lot to be learned about it, and I think that we all need to share a little bit of the information with each other once we find out, anything that we find out, because we're all scientists. We're all in this together, and we all have a stake, because it's easy to pawn it off on, others to do the research, but what I've found is every time I do that research to find the truth, I find that a lot of people who claim to be doing research are really just repeating statistics. And often I catch myself doing it too. And when I find I was wrong, instead of saying no, and defending it, I try to correct it. So, it was like I said to my buddy, I said what I found out with these special coatings on these probiotics is I said, well, from what I read, this enteric coating, or whatever it's called, I think it's enteric, what they're finding out is that by doing that on probiotics, the heat that's required to put that coating on actually may damage more of the probiotics. So you may be better off taking a non-coated probiotic. But then he said his were different. So I looked them up and checked out the brand, and sure enough, they have some other encapsulated time-release form. But I'm very suspicious of all this time-release stuff because many probiotics on the market are making claims nobody really understands yet. And they're saying, oh, this will help you with this or this. And, people are willing to pay a lot of money for it. And my thought is that if probiotics are on the market, I think that's a wonderful thing, but I also think that getting it from natural sources would be a superior method, obviously, because you're getting the synergy of whatever plant or substance that you're eating. In other words, the different components may work together, or they may be assisting bacteria that are also in there that we don't understand. It just seems like whenever you isolate one compound or one bacteria or something and try to use it, you have to be very specific about how to use that, and it's going to be individual for each different type of person. And understanding that each human is different in their whole ecosystem or their biosystem, it's a microbiome, they call it. It's a pretty amazing thing, and each one of us is completely tailored to our lifestyle. There's no way to say that a person should stop their behavior or change their diet to this or that. The truth is, what we're finding, and this is what I've always suspected, is that your body and your microbiome adapt to whatever lifestyle you have. This is sometimes allergies develop, sometimes allergies will not be present in a certain person, but in someone else in their family, and sometimes we figure this is genetic, but it may be triggered or due to certain gut bacteria or certain things that they ate. Like if you ate a lot of something, you might develop an allergy to it. It's an interesting concept, but at any rate, we just don't know. And from all the research I've done, all the top scientists say they just don't know. But we don't understand. We don't know how these things work yet, and that people would love to tell you that they know because everybody wants to be an expert. But this is where I think we all come together and discover it for ourselves and help each other along that path. But I'm very reluctant to support, say, probiotics with some special coating after finding out that these enteric coatings actually can do more damage than, help. And I think these are the little things we need to research. Being honest with ourselves and saying, let's say I'm taking something, I should be researching what I'm taking too. So, anyway, I gotta go. I'll talk to you later. Have a wonderful